For today's broadcast at the Edge of the Unknown Spotlight on History, we're going to be looking at a few things here. We're actually going to be looking at a book by James Rourke, Michael P. Johnson, Patricia Klein Cohen, Sarah Stage, Ellen Lawson, and Susan M. Hartman, called The American Promise, and Conquest, Cortez, Montezuma, and the Fall of Old Mexico by Hugh Thomas. And what this one is about is the church and state in the age of conquest. So the conquest of the New World, while not a single war, was war nonetheless. In The American Promise, the authors state that European monarchs wanted to enlarge their respective realms and perpetuate their dynasties. A swift way to add new subjects and new riches was to add new realms. This would ensure more taxes and also more soldiers with whom they could add more new territories. This increased commerce and resulted in the magnification of power of the monarch. In this, we see a clear indication of the influence of the reinforcement of the personal power of those in charge. Peace in the age of discovery was not profitable and thus not desirable. The wars in the New World proved devastating to the indigenous peoples, and as a result of the Columbian Exchange, Native American populations were diminished by nearly 90% from the pre-Columbian era. The book The American Promise indicates that though Europeans started as a minority in New Spain, they soon became the dominant minority, creating a steep social hierarchy. Reinforced by more advanced weaponry and a willingness to implement, when deemed necessary, a scorched earth policy as seen in the example of Cortez in Mexico. This hierarchy was defined by perceptions of national origin and race, exhibiting the dangers of extreme nationalism, jingoism, and the viewing of others as dehumanized because their place of origin may be different. Hugh Thomas, in his book Conquest, Cortez, Montezuma, and the Fall of Old Mexico, emphasizes the importance on the commercial motives behind Spanish and Portuguese expansion. The monarchs, he says, wished to copy the Florentines and use gold for coin. And prior to the discovery of the New World, the gold of Europe came mostly from West Africa. The pursuit of new sources of gold became an obsession, and so the obsession with profit incited rulers to conquer or wage war on other nations. So is gold or money a reason for war or perhaps a justification for it? I believe it's both, and I believe it's neither. The money itself is not the end, but a means to an end, just as power is. Now, who would speak up for the indigenous people? As a response to the exploitation and abuse of the native population by the invading Spaniards, Anton Mendocino, a Dominican friar, gave the following sermon in 1511 as indicated in the American Promise. He said this: "Your greed for gold is blind. Your pride, your lust, your anger, your envy, your sloth, all blind. You are in mortal sin, and you are headed for damnation, for you are destroying an innocent people. For they are God's people, these innocents whom you have destroyed. By what right do you make them die? Mining gold for you in your mines or working for you in your fields, by what right do you unleash enslaving wars upon them? They have lived in peace in this land before you came, and peace in their own homes. They did nothing to harm you, to cause you to slaughter them wholesale. Are you not under God's command to love them as you love yourselves? Are you out of your souls, out of your minds? Yes, and that will bring you to damnation." These are pretty powerful words, and although they were pretty powerful, Mendocino's words went for the most part unheeded by Ferdinand, whose response was the Requerimiento, which stated that any and all who failed to welcome the conquest and the accompanying blessings deserved to die. In sharp contrast to Mendocino's words, the Requerimiento stated that the church was the ruler and superior of the whole world. They were, according to Ferdinand, not God's people, but subjects of the church, willingly or not. Mendocino's sermon seems more impressive due to his sheer audacity in criticizing the national policy during the Inquisition. Bear in mind, this was a time when the divine right of kings was not questioned without consequence. Though Mendocino's harsh criticisms of the policy of the Spanish rulers had little effect during his own time, they have reverberated throughout the ages into our own time, helping us to learn from past events and providing us with a glimpse of a division between the church and the state 5 centuries ago in regards to the treatment of others. Thank you for listening. This is Colby at the Edge of the Unknown. Take care.